across the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Welcome back to Elden Ring. We're here in Sellia, where we have now learned the secret. We technically kind of already learned the secret. It's fires up in the top. But now we know there's a total of 3. We got that one over there already. And there's this one right here. We'll start with that. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, there's also an item over there. Okay. Doing some bold jumps here. But it's necessary to be able to get to the top. There's a giant weird face again. That's fine. A seal was broken in town somewhere. In theory. But we want to break all the seals, which I think can be accomplished by lighting all the fires. We just need to figure out how to get to the third one. Also, here's a Staff of Loss. Okay. Cool. I'm going to need to consider getting a staff upgrade at some point here, if I want to do any regular magic stuff. Staff of Loss. We have the requirements, easily. Staff missing its glintstone, wielded by sorcerers who believe that discovery comes through acts of asceticism. The staff only distinguishes itself when casting invisibility sorceries. That is reason enough for some to wield it. That checks out with everyone here. They are very much into invisibility. Ah, I can get the top. Oh, this is open. Oh, it's a boss now. Okay. Well, that might actually be where we need to go. But I want to see if we can't make our way to a third tower. Take care of that guy. Horseback on the rooftops. And we're on fire. Oh yeah, we're building it over here. We were right here before. We picked up that item. But now we can actually go up here. Alright. We'll light the flame. A seal was broken in town somewhere. And that up there does not look like a fire. Or any way to actually get to that. Guess you could maybe jump from the top. Probably not, though. So now we have all these broken seals to go check out. And to help me with that, I'm bringing out Oleg. We're gonna fight some mages. It's gonna be great. Seems like he knows where the invisible guys are. That's pretty useful. Here's where this painting was. Okay. So there were at least a few seals that are now opened. We're going to look around for them. If we find any seals that are still closed, that's going to be annoying. But there might be something in that boss over there, so it'll be fine. That'll be a good start, at least. Ah, here's one. We got a chest. With Knight's Comet. Also, Oleg's fighting. He's very good at finding people. Nice. He's got a cerulean flask. Back up there. What are you fighting now? It's under control. There's a new spell. Night Comet, I believe it was. 38 intelligence. One of the night sorceries of Sellia, down to sorcery. Fires a semi-invisible magic comet. Sorcery can be cast repeatedly while in motion and charged for potency. The Sellian sorcerers were assassins, and instead they often hunted their fellows. Yeah. Invisible spells. That would do a lot. It'd be very effective. And here's a chest. Looks like in town it's just going to be chests behind here, but I'm not complaining. Spelldrake Talisman +1. Okay. That is going to be Magic Negation. A duo of blue ancient dragons, greatly boosting magic damage negation. We go to equipment here. Magic damage negation 25, 29, compared to just 14 with nothing else. Honestly, it seems like most of the upgrade to negation comes from just being there. I guess a lot of it also comes from not having these on. Eh. Oh yeah, look. Increases damage taken by lowering all of our damage negations. That's not great. I mean, we have two of these also decreasing our defenses. It's fine. It's not ideal to have such lower defense, but things could be worse. Door. You have the big door over that way, so that leads to a boss. There's at least one more door here. Or seal that's been opened, specifically. That's Oleg. Back this way. That's a ghost. Everything being ghosts is really mixing this up. And in here. An imbued sword key. Nice. I think that'll let us open the final teleport. Oleg's going on rampage. Same. love his spins. Always a good time. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. I think that might have been all of them. It's be hard to tell because the little seals are broken. I think we're probably good there. You try to have his big magic sword. Too slow of a cast time, I'm afraid. So a spell, a talisman, and a key. Not bad. Finish the roll leg. Very good. Alright, now we have 5,000 runes. Which isn't ideal if we're gonna go take on a boss. But we also don't have a site of grace here. This is a tree. Go for the understair. How nice of a run up is that to here? We could just go from Crystal Tunnel. No enemies in the way this way. But yeah, I think I can safely risk 5,000 runes when we need 30,000 for a level. Yeah. Don't feel like going and getting 25,000 more runes. Let's just head over this way. And we just go along the edge here. We can get right to where we need to be. Boss ahead. Sure seems it. Time for blood loss. Try guard counter. Well, let's see what we get in here. Nox Monk and Nox Sorceress. We've got an interesting weapon. They don't have much health, it doesn't seem. Very long reach. No health. No health whatsoever. Nox Flowing Sword. I think the other one had like a flowing mace. That's neat. Nox Flowing Sword, huh? Bizarre. It is a curved sword. A grim weapon wielded by swordsmen of the Eternal City. Nokron. This shotel has a blade as fine as a needle. Forged from liquid metal of a silver tier. Is thoroughly tempered and hard until hardened. Flowing form. Temporarily transforms armament into its liquid form. Swing the armament like a whip to perform a sweeping slice over a wide area. Fascinating. That's definitely something different. Lots of bloodstains in here. Alright. Confusion ahead. This rot? Look behind here. Visions of sorcery. First off, magic. Lusat's glintstone staff. That's got a lot of glintstone on it. That's gonna be a high requirement, I'm sure. 52 intelligence. Yep. Yep. Staff of the primeval glintstone sorcerer Lusat. Only those who have glimpsed what lies beyond the wisdom of stone may wield it. Enhances power of all sorceries, but consumes additional FP. Looks fancy. Looks very fancy. Hidden path ahead. Ladder ahead. Fatty. No plump sword ahead. Hey. That's cool. Just a bossy open up by lighting those fires. Not the first time that's happened. That's happened down below at the Hallowhorn grounds, where we lit a bunch of fires to open that up. Still trying to get to Nokron, but we are at least heading a direction for that. Cool room. Alright. I think that takes care of Sellia here. So next thing we want to do is head out into the swamp. Start from the Sellia side here. We went around the outside of the swamp. Now we're going into the swamp proper. Let's get the flame cleansing ready to go, in case we fall into the swamp, which is entirely possible. Generally, we want to do as much as possible on torrent during this adventure, because that lets us just live. There's a rune arc. Not bad. Some more marionettes. Got these exploding parts, which we should probably try to avoid, if possible. Except it's exploding everywhere over there. That's not great. Got the big scarabs. The big dragonflies. Let's see if we have any more of those knights over here. We took care of a lot of them. So I might be okay now. More big dragonflies. Yeah, it's pretty effective. Aeonian butterflies in Aeonia. Who would have thunk it? Stack race. I think all these knights are still rocking around. Or maybe there's a few of them. Maybe they're coming out of the swamp. That'd be unfortunate. Okay. Let's get up on here. Got a message over there. Dragonfly over there. There's Sellia. Yeah. Place is definitely a mess. That's for sure. Be wary of enemy. Ah, right there, huh? Ah, they learned to not just stand there and take it. Wild. You are blocking the wrong direction. Silly guy. Weak foe ahead. Just gotta run around when they try to block. Not a problem. We got these ruins over here. Still no armament. I'm still trying to farm these knights for their cool stuff. Could do. Also, bonus dragonfly heads. And this guy. Definitely don't want to get off a torrent. That'd be problematic. Don't want that butterfly though. Hey, the largest dragonflies, how you doing? Your largeness gives you a larger hitbox. And that'll be your downfall. Okay. So there's the Grace right there. This whole exploding area is kind of a mess. Let's see if there's anything actually out in the exploding zone. I'm just going to ignore that, I guess. As much as we can. Visions of the tongue. We have the dung beetle. That was over there before. And over there. Alright. So we've got the ruins over here now. Check that out. Let's explore it up around this area. So what are we gonna have in the ruins here? Oh my gosh. Yes, the quantity of these plants. My goodness. Bugs me. Still plant guys though, my goodness. Cease. And then we rolled around a bit, so we're still technically getting more rock buildup. Yeah, it's going back. Toxic mushroom. Gonna skirt around the edges here while we wait for the rot buildup to go away. It's like the entryway here. Alright, what do we got? These poison guys. And the rock flowers. And traveler stuff. And perfume bottles. Oh, we have perfume bottles now. Okay. Well, that's a lot of stuff in one pile there. Maybe in... Here it is. Container required for crafting perfume items. Glass bottles used by perfumers. Used to seal various scent compounds. Essential vessel for crafting perfume items. The art of perfuming was once jealously guarded in the capital, but after the perfumers were drafted into service during the Shattering, the art became widely practiced throughout the lands between. And we only have acidic spray mist, which needs Altus blooms from the Altus Plateau. Release acid mist from mouth. My goodness. Then there was that entire equipment set. Warrior. Traveler's hat. Kind of a traveling perfumer of no renown. An associate of a healer, he is said to be in search of new aromatics and flower gardens, in hopes of treating misbegotten, omen, and all those seen as impure. So it gives a... Also gives less... There's a bit of immunity, focus, and vitality. Very little robustness, though. That's fine. Then there was all their clothes. Oh, which one was it? Not Finger Maiden. Perfumer's traveling garb. Now this one has some immunity. And focus and vitality. The thick front apron, the badge of a perfumer, has been replaced with a more simple one, made from soft leather. So, good resistances to a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe less robustness, though. Yeah. We're gonna have the perfumer gloves. Traveler gloves. Gloves of a traveling perfumer of no renown. And the traveler slops. The same. We haven't really been focusing much on any specific resistances or anything like that. That's an idea, though. My goodness, the number of these poison guys. And here is the downstairs. Sorcery. Well, let's finish looking around the rest of the ruins first, shall we? Not much in a lot of these. Very much has been destroyed by the rock swamp. Definitely not a ideal place for trying to be a building. Jumped right over that. I want to be on top of there. Nice. No reason to be up here. We get a little bit more of a view, I guess. We got the main large building, the raised building. Great. Got this guy. Not anymore, we don't. Let's stay away from the flowers over there. Really don't need them messing with us. Golden rune. Not too surprising that those little rot flowers are down in the rot. Seems like a place they'd like. I'm gonna nip those flower buds in the bud there. Don't need that. Okay. And then up in here. We have flowers. And the meteorite staff. Sounds cool. We have so many weapons. It's pretty great. Meteorite staff. Staff embedded with a dark purple glintstone, said to be the fragment of a meteorite. Boasts high sorcery scaling and boosts gravity sorceries as well. However, the staff cannot be strengthened in any way. Interesting. So this one has a 138 sorcery scaling, compared to the basic staff's 117. The Academy staff has really bad sorcery scaling. High requirements and better intellect scaling, I guess. So the base scaling is worse, but as you level up, it might get better. 115. 126 on the Demi-Human Queen's staff. Only 60 on this one. Interesting. Yeah, that has an S scaling with intelligence, but it can't be upgraded. Interesting. And a golden ring. Praise the edge. Just go out this way too. I guess. You're trying to avoid those 3 flowers. Might as well. Although I feel like they'd probably see you through the window. And you'd end up having to fight them anyways. Yeah, this would be a nightmare without Torrent. But we don't have to worry about that. Very convenient that none of the rot has seeped down in here, filling this entire tunnel up. Something incredible ahead. It's a door. We've got bloodstains. A message going that way. I guess I could have died to rot. Rock Sling. It's gonna be a gravity magic. To go with that gravity staff we just got. Seems like the gravity guys were here before. Before this place got covered in rot. Rock Sling. One of the glintstone sorceries that manipulates gravitational forces. Pulls a clump of rock from the earth and sends them flying. Sorcery can be cast while in motion. A gravitational technique studied by the young Radon. His master was an alabaster lord with skin of stone. So yeah, the alabaster lords, very much connected to gravity magic. And apparently Radon is too. Good to know. And this is nothing. on Torrent. They ran over there and died. Okay. Yeah, sure looks like a place where there'd be something past here, right? The chest is off to the side. It's not like a regular treasure room where it's the chest prominently displayed in the middle. Eh. That could be interesting. Gosh, lots of bloodstains here. The rot and the poison are not treating people well. My goodness. We just basically need to head southwards. Elden. Shouldn't be too much more swamp to check out. Get out of here. We got this guy chilling. We got the explosions, absolutely not chilling. Gotta scare him. Ash of War, Poisonous Mist. That checks out. That checks out. This Ash of War grants the armament the poison affinity and following skill, Poisonous Mist. Bathe armament in poison, then slash, spreading toxic mist forwards. And then it's poisonous for a while. Usable on melee weapons, except for whips, fists, and claws. And there's also Poison Moth Flight, which makes them poisoned. And then if you hit again, it does even more damage. Interesting. Okay. And these guys on the edge there. More dragonflies. Yay. We're in combat with the dragonflies. Technically. Then you have this area where there's all the knights chilling. There's one. And here's some somethings. A butterfly. And a somber smithing stone 4. Not bad. Likely armament. Knights ahead. Indeed. And these guys are just all up in the rot here, aren't they? That's a lot of rot there. Oh, we got something. What did we get? The Clean Rot Helm. That looks pretty fancy. That compares to what we have. Very heavy. Winged Helm of the Clean Rot Knights, celebrated for their undefeated campaign in the Shattering. The Clean Rot Knights vowed to fight alongside Millennia, despite the inevitable, if gradual, putrefaction of their flesh. Their acceptance of their fate made these battles the fiercest of all. Let's see, 6.4. That is heavier than any of our other helmets. Definitely looks cool, though. is technically heavier. It's also a giant rock, so that's cool. Could probably farm out their entire set slowly but surely. We'd probably want to increase drop chance if we did any of that, though. Okay, move back over here. That's where those guys are. We found a decent amount of stuff out here in the swamp. Lots of different spells, staff, and overall, as long as you don't get knocked off torrent, it's really not a huge deal. There have been significantly worse poison swamps than this, so I really can't complain. So that just leaves over to the castle here. Then technically, I don't know if this area up here still counts as Caelid, since this is the Dragon Barrow or something like that. So I think we could open up the map there at least. Bridge here. With all these teleporters, it seems like you might not be able to actually get inside from this way. We can check that out. Yeah, I think I want to go see if I can't snoop around. Up the top here. Sellia back streets. Sellia. Sellia Crystal Tunnel. I think there was a way up from near the hideaway. So let's go that way. Very dark. Very dark. Still don't have whatever the... written down here. Seal breaker. Still don't have a seal breaker. So there's... I mean, we broke a whole bunch of seals. I don't think that counts as over here. So. Something to look into later. But I want to head up here. See if we can get into some nonsense. North, and then there's a path. Grail's Dragon Barrow. Up. Yep, up there. Lots of good stuff. Definitely a dragon there. Another of these burning walls. And a very large dragon over there. I'm sure that's fine. Oh yeah, dragons. This is a dangerous place, probably. Almost definitely. That dragon's screaming. Those dragons are waking up. Oh my gosh. Maybe this isn't where we want to be with 20,000 runes. I'm just gonna go along the edge here for a second. We can't sneak our way in here. Look at that beastie. I wonder if all these are gonna give dragon hearts. Can I eat all these dragons? Inquiring minds want to know. There's a cliff there. We can get up. Get up that way. Up this route, maybe? Seems like a safer way than going through that pond with all the dragons. Okay. There's the map. No, no. Let's just... Up it. There we go. Just need to go to any site of grace there. But that is the Dragon Barrow. It looks like it still technically counts as Caelid. It's not off the... anything there. So let's see what we got here. Got a building over there. Got a path. Looks like a building over here. We still have the jar guys to go. Well, the jar and his PvP-ish challenge there. We've got... it's like a tower there, maybe. Minor Erd Tree. Building. Bridges here. There's a bigger dragon on this great bridge, too. And that leads up to the Bestial Sanctum. Since this looks like it's still going to be part of Caelid, I think we should probably do the Dragon Barrow first. Probably should have tried to find a site of grace while we were up there. At least to start. We could go from the Bestial Sanctum side. It's a possibility. I want to see if there's a very obvious site of grace up there. Since that is not really what I was looking for, in particular. Well, it's already storming down here. Oh boy. Let's go up top. To the castle. Might be a site of grace near the castle. Also, I kind of want to bother the... there's a lot smaller dragon right there. There's a big dragon. I think that's going to wake up all the dragons. Yeah, see? I will take it. I will take it. And this is, still on the map there, Fort Faroth. Cool. I'm gonna go poke the big dragon. I'm gonna stand on top of the big dragon if I can. Let me on top of the dragon. You're fun. You got a health bar. Don't know about this plan. Oh, 13,000 bleed. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. If I get rid of the giant dragon, you won't be able to keep screaming and waking up all the other dragons. We got a lot of buffs, and it's helping us kill a dragon. He's got a lot of health, though. There's another bleed. Yeah, the 13,000 bleed proc is helping out. Try tail. I am trying. It's working pretty well. Stamina. It's times like these, I'm glad there is no durability system. Or I'd be spending my entire weapon's durability fighting one dragon here. Up. So we can bring out Oleg here. Oleg, please don't go try to fight any of the other dragons. Oleg, where are you going? We're fighting this one. It's got my buffs in. This is pretty wild. It's not even trying. It's just existing. We are really relying on the lead procs here. Oleg's not even helping. There we go. Wonder what the total HP here was. Definitely in the tens of thousands. Easily. That's its wing way over there. Yeah, try to wake up all the dragons. See how that goes for you. Dragonheart. That's 5. New Draconic power is available at the Cathedral of Dragon Communion. We also have 97,000 runes now. Goodbye, giant dragon. Likely fat coin purse. Time for a blood loss. Dragon rope. Try blood loss. Cast. It was just lying here in a pile of rot. It was probably rotting. That's why it wasn't fighting back. I did it. And did that get rid of all the small dragons? That killed all the dragons. That'd be something. Let me go see if I can find a dragon out here. I mean, it did have 5 hearts. Oh, there's a dragon. Could have killed all the dragons. Well, let's go turn in some dragon hearts, shall we? That's fun. See what we get for that. A new thing is available. Rotten Breath. Xyz, Decay, Dragon Ice, Dragon Claw, Dragon Maw, Greyall's Roar. Spirit Incantation of Dragon Communion. Channels the power of Greyall the Elder Dragon. An incantation of legendary status. Transforms caster into a dragon to emit a terrible roar, reducing the attack power and defense of nearby allies. Greyall was the mother of all dragons, dwarfing all who stood before her like a looming mountain. And we killed her. We already have the fire ones, Claw and Maw. Now we have 5 more. This has the highest requirements. We have the Rot Breath. I'm interested in some Magic Breath too. Then presumably there's going to be an Ice Dragon. Possibly even the large one we saw on the bridge earlier. So I think I'll just get the upgraded versions of both of these. Super Ice, Super Rot Breath, and we can save a Dragon Heart. What do you think you're doing? Also, we have 98,000 runes, so we should probably do something with that. Level up. I'm still just thinking a little bit more vigor. With the amount of damage things do, and the fact that we take more damage from everything because of the things we're using, just getting a few more levels in here wouldn't be bad. Yeah, we're just throwing all of it into vigor. I think I'm gonna stop at 35, so 1 more level after this. But spend 92,000 runes. My goodness. Oh yeah, look at that health bar. That is healthy. Okay. So we're gonna start up in the Dragon Barrow. Now with 1 less giant dragon. Greyall is dead. And I have eaten the hearts. I am the dragon now. We could put on one of the different dragon attacks here. Not flasks. Because we already have a fire attack with Black Flame. I'm gonna go with Magic Flame. Now that is a frontal cone. Very cool. Into this fort. And then the rest of this area. Fighting a bunch of dragons. And such. Next time. Goodbye.